Hey, hi, hello, what's up? We are going to read the latest chapter of One Punch Man, the remake. At the end, I'll talk about, what the plans are for reading manga in general. But thing is, I felt like reading this. I felt like making a video of reading this, so I'm going to make it. That's the takeaway here. So we're doing it. It's the new chapter of One Punch Man. I'm pretty excited. It's been super hype lately. We're in one of the most unprecedentedly powerful battles of all time, perhaps the most powerful battle of all time, of Tatsumaki versus the super-powered fusion Psychos with Orochi. That stuff is getting crazy. At the same time, of course, a dozen other plot lines are taking place in and around the Monster Association headquarters, which of course has been ripped way up into the sky. I don't know what's going to happen. It's equally likely that we could return to any of these plots and explore them at any amount of depth. Looks like we're starting off with the Tatsumaki Psychos fight. I guess that should be indicated by the title, which is Something Huge Part 2, which is really just a continuation of the previous Something Huge chapter, which had some really, really crazy artwork just depicting the magnitude of power. Some pieces that in isolation I think are among the most beautiful Murata has contributed to this series. So I'm pretty pumped. I'm pretty pumped. This shot is already super cool, just kind of like an Avengers style cinematic action, but of course with a much more interesting and built up and earned aesthetic than things I see in Marvel movies. Make sure that our line of fire doesn't get to ground level. So everything was also evacuated and King is leaving with the hostage. Look at him go! Look at King be useful. Hell yeah. He gave me free reign after considering the compatibility with the enemy in the battleground. That was a good decision. So basically, Tatsumaki, with her infinite respect for King, the strongest hero, concludes that King probably could have beaten Psychos, but Psychos is like way up there. That King has better things to do with his limitations as a grounded humanoid person, and the Tatsumaki can take care of the floating brainstem psycho beast thing. Here, a tsunami is rushing in. Again, I mentioned this. I think. Well, I read the previous chapters on a live stream, and I think I mentioned during the live stream that like the way these attacks are just influencing the natural world and the natural world's like response to it. It reminds me a lot of Whitebeard fighting in the Marineford War, causing tsunamis with his quake attack, and then it would cut to like all over the world and be like, why are there so many earthquakes? Like, what's going on? Like, what is happening today? And it's just Whitebeard fighting half the world away. It's fantastic. This has the same sort of energy. I love it. And an opportunity for heroics. Hopefully, we'll get to see how people could possibly survive these sudden, unnatural, natural disasters. This is an amazing shot. I suppose this is Psychos levitating all of these boulders, which have been ripped out from the earth as the seas flood in. Or maybe it's Tatsumaki. Actually, it could be Tatsumaki making a very clever emergency tsunami relief barrier, that tsunamis will just fall into this crevice. Yeah, yeah. So Tatsumaki is doing this. Awesome smug look on her face. But I don't know. Is this going to be enough? This pebble throwing attack, as as Sayatama referred to this use of psychic powers. She swings a gigantic energy beam, slicing through all of them. But at least we know that it warrants a response. Because at first I thought maybe they would just, and she would just shrug, that kind of godlike power. But this is a real battle. This is one where they have the capacity to hurt each other. Tatsumaki weaving around, firing off more boulder bullets. Sure, sure, sure. Ooh, and she manages to get one through. Psychos has to now do a more short-range block. Oh, that is a cool shot. Oh, man. Just like slicing through it. It has the same kind of visual energy as a very common manga trope and also kind of like samurai movie trope where, to demonstrate the sharpness of a blade, something just kind of passes right through it and emerges on the other side in just like two distinct chunks, And it has this just very general feeling of impressiveness, power. And here, at a much, much larger scale, they achieve the same sort of visual language, the same sort of hype of like, it just, just goes through. So tries to seal them away in a bunch of rocks, maybe trying to do, the typical tornado of terror. Burst back out. Tatsumaki, inscrutable. What does she think? Psychos posing again, basically naked. I don't know how they're gonna get away with this one. Someone showed me how some of the releases of a previous volume had been censored. Someone on the back had like a lot of cleavage or something, and they gave them like a bonus shirt. So come on, Viz, like just bump up the rating, please. Make it for older teens if you have to, but like, imagine how awkward trying to censor this is gonna be. I don't know, maybe they'll just say screw it. Maybe it was only because it was on the back of the book that they censored it a little harder. This is a pretty badass shot. Like, they're doing a good job, I think, making Psychos very sexualized, as Murata had promised. She's gonna be hella sexy. He said this in some interview before. But that it's like the fact that she's posing, she's showing off her assets and stuff during this super high stakes, high power level fight, really kind of demonstrates her personality and her power level in a way that I think is kind of badass. So it's a good character building choice. It's not just fan service, but it's also fan service. Ooh, these are some crazy shots. Just look at Tatsumaki's face. That is terrifying. And then here we get almost kind of like a summary shot of the battle. Just orbs of energy, swirls of dust, beams blasting out at all angles. The sound effects, body, go, 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 go. Ooh, I love this. This is something Murata is so good at. Just like this first shot at a distance, we can understand like the scale of it, but we can't really understand, the subjective magnitude of it, how big it seems. So first we know how big it is, and then we get the experience of what it actually is to look up at that, and have the entire sky covered, and how for this entire city, that's the view they have when they look up, this maelstrom of psychic energy. Ooh, it's so good. And this cyclopean, alien-looking tower piercing up into the vortex. It's fantastic. Like, tell me if you saw this on like a sci-fi novel, you wouldn't be like, all right, that looks badass. Like, it's just, in any context, this would look badass. Say the Boston Monster Association. You might miss Tatsumaki. The end of the world, isn't it? Ooh, and Tatsumaki gets sent flying down into the city. Oh my gosh. Is that right? Who gets sent? Or is that just a beam? I think that's just like a beam. The way it curved, it looked like an arc. It looked like somebody's trajectory. But I think it's just a beam that like curves like that. Okay. Hide yourself. Find the goes behind the rocks. Sense your power. If I sense your power, your movements will be in sight. Ooh. I don't know, Psychos. I feel like when you say something like that, you're raising a flag. And the flag is Tatsumaki has figured out how to project energy, project her psychic energy to mislead you, something like that. Yeah, okay, that's pretty clever, right? Did you really fall for that trick? Even I didn't fall for that trick. Come on, Psychos. Whoa, my god. Oh, this has like big Evangelion energy. Not to try to spoil Evangelion or something, but there's some scenes where it's almost comedic. Like, almost. Here it's definitely, there's some comedy intended. With Evangelion, it's more kind of surrealist, horrifying type stuff. But suddenly the permeability, the ability to just kind of go inside other things that look like major entities, and this like weird subversion of the expected power in doing so. She just went inside. It was so silly. Bye-bye, Miss Paper Mache. Oh my god, and that, geez, I don't know, I feel like that maybe does it. Like, it would be pretty cruel to depict Tatsumaki's super powerhouse, unbeatable attack, the Tornado of Terror, and then to kind of laugh it off. But then, if we look at the webcomic stuff, Psychos definitely has still a much larger role to play in like the rest of the story and the battle, and there's still like backstory that we haven't heard from her. So I don't know. I don't really know how to predict where the fight is going to go from here, which is exciting. Maybe like the human form of Psychos will step out still wounded, or I don't know. Maybe this is just a she's just going to laugh this attack off too. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how much we can rely on what happens in the webcomic at this point. The fusion of Psychos and Orochi was entirely covered by a strong barrier during the battle. There's one part that the barrier did not isolate and cover. She just goes inside. Damn. It's kind of like Shadow of the Colossus, maybe. Just go inside. Just walk right up in there. This is really cool, too, to see inside the physical structure where the Psychos, Orochi barrier, and the rest of the Monster Association kind of intersect. It's really creepy. Did a good job with that. Camouflaged herself as part of the energy absorbed by Psychos, and by flying through the roots of her body, she invaded Psychos' body. Can finally pull the assault team out of here. Couldn't pull out the heroes until now because she's afraid the barrier would trap her with the fleshy root. So, okay. So she's popping everybody out of the Monster Association. We see Prisoner and his butt. There's Atomic Samurai, who I guess ever since he got bubbled way back at the start of this fight has just been chilling. Maybe in a meditative pose. Ooh. So this is key. That she starts doing the tornado. She gets most of the body pretty well seized by the attack. It's clear the attack is working. And then she says, I'm not going to finish the attack. I'll twist off the hideout. Like, I'm going to snap the two parts apart and then finish totally annihilating the Psychos Orochi team. I think is basically what's being implied here. So because of her heroic status, because she is a hero first and needs to save all those people, that's what brings about her downfall. This is just worth noting in like the larger themes of this arc. Like Garo, remember Garo? Talking about the strength of heroes and villains and stuff, and this idea of reliance on others, others' reliance on you. It's just, I don't know, it's well done. Like, obviously this fight is going to go back and forth however many times, but to position those back and forths such that they also highlight moral lessons of the arc, I think is what you can do to take your shonen writing to the next tier. And she gets, dang, stabbed right there. Yes, from the tornado garbled carnage. It still comes out. She's getting crucified, basically. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. And the bubble breaks. Tatsumaki has been knocked unconscious. Prisoner was right above Atomic Samurai. Pretty funny. It looks like he was like totally meditating. Because when the bubble pops, it's like he wakes up and sees gigantic naked man falling right above him. Doing okay, but didn't finish me off. Don't let your guard down just because you've seen some flamboyant blood spray. Soon I'll also check on your sister. Taste of all my bursting anger. So here we can see where the real body is. We don't really know where that is exactly, but it looks like it's somewhere far away from this towering avatar thing at the top of the Monster Association. And here, this looks like some ultimate attack, sacrificing aesthetics and fan service, or perhaps just fan service in a terrifying new fetish. She rips the Psychos avatar in half, revealing this terrifying beak-like thing. Again, just the way the Orochi monster has been escalated. First from like just giant scary man to kind of omni-dragon, pan-draconic, multi-serpent thing, to then a more like biblical serpent offering this forbidden power to Psychos. Then we had all of this imagery around like brain neurons and stuff that it's representing some next form of evolution. And now, even still, these like kind of beak-like elements, the black metal-looking things, these Lance of Longinus-looking spears, the visual language just keeps evolving. It's not like abrupt changes like new form, but it really feels like an evolution using the parts that go all the way back to the start. Like these are still kind of the same Orochi talents. It's just cool is all. That one in Murata can think along these lines when it comes to character design. You know, I think that is such an underappreciated skill in these sorts of shonen series. Really feeling like an evolution of power. Okay, so all seems lost. But what is this beam rocketing up from the ground that manages to divert this extremely powerful, perhaps unprecedentedly powerful attack from the Psycho Orochi fusion, saving Tatsumaki's life? Who could it be? It must be the King Wave Shot Cannon that King unleashes in the webcomic. Webcomic spoilers. King is not a fraud. King has the Wave Shot Cannon, or whatever it's actually called. No, just kidding. I don't think it could be that. That's a joke from the webcomic. The King tries launching that attack to distract them, and nothing happens. So what could it actually be? It could be Fubuki, because she says, soon I'll also check on your sister, which is like kind of immediate foreshadowing to put Fubuki in your head. And then you get a little bit of catharsis when it turns out to be Fubuki. It seems like she wouldn't be strong enough to do that. But there's something that they get into in the webcomic that maybe still plays in this remake of like the way that Fubuki constructs her psychic energy has some sort of weird assonance. It has like destructive interference with Psychoses, and this is a result of them knowing each other kind of before these whole adventures and developing their psychic energies. Fubuki had planned this just in case Psychos went wild. Is any of this accurate? Webcomic readers, do you remember this stuff? So that to me suggests that it's Fubuki, those pieces of evidence. Also that I don't really know who else it could be. Who else could launch such a powerful attack that's like an energy blast like this? Who could it be? I don't know. I guess we'll read on and find out. And then these swirl around and combined in the sky. This is a beautiful, beautiful shot of the Earth. The sun tiny on the horizon compared to this swirling orb of power. What now? It's Genos? Yo, Genos did that? Dude, Genos is strong now. He's tired of running around getting jobbed. Now he's gonna shoot big energy blast and then get jobbed. Oh, poor Genos. I'm sorry. I mean, I know that it could deviate from the webcomic, but wouldn't it make so much more sense if Genos just loses here? Surely it can't deviate from the webcomic so much that Genos is now going to be the hero of the entire arc and defeat Psychos. I'm sorry, buddy. I'm so sorry, buddy. You look so cool. You're so badass. But I think that was your lucky break. A lightning bolt that rises. A blue dragon. I mean, he looks so cool. Don't get me wrong. And the way that they're all talking about this new kind of form of his, so powerful. This stunned silence, a blue dragon, that kind of like imagery, that metaphor for the strength that you're witnessing. Usually that's a good sign in shonen. And it's just so sad. Ooh, that's so cool. The draconic Genos. And again, just this mystique that is built up around the word dragon and draconic things in this series is so good. The consistency of it. That something inferring dragons, bringing to mind dragons, consistently means that something's going to be powerful and badass. So this is pretty cool. Don't get me wrong, this is pretty cool, but I have zero optimism that Genos will win. 0% chance of winning. Those are my Vegas odds. Okay, this is an extremely badass shot. Somehow, even though it's like some sexy psychic lady fused with weird mutant dragon thing that has been experimented on over and over and over again, versus a heavily augmented human that has just had so much technology jammed into him that he can fly around like an electric dragon. Despite the extreme sci-fi-ness of the premise, somehow Murata has made this look like kind of iconic, traditional, legendary Japanese art of, you know, big snake-like dragons coiling around each other in some incomprehensibly ancient battle. Somehow the same energy. In the same way that before I was like, doesn't this look like kind of a classic sci-fi cover? This looks like some classic legendary illustration or something. With the sun on the horizon like that and the ocean, just the sense of scale and hugeness of it. Tatsumaki shining like the polar star. Oh, yeah. Oh, this is the good stuff, man. This is friggin' Murata. Lightning, drill, cannon. That's Genos' attack. Psychos doesn't name her attacks because she's not a 12-year-old kid. And is a lady of science and knows that that does nothing for you. They flash. Genos is knocked away. Okay. I'm not too surprised. our poor little robo boy can't get through. And now Psychos deploys these little guys, these scamps. Genos fires off a billion lasers. I don't know why my computer made a something gets connected noise. Oh, I think it's because my iPod is charged enough that I can... Yeah, no partition found. That's scary. Okay. Can you entrust me with this battle? I don't need others interfering. King entrusted me with this battle. Hilarious. Okay, sorry. My iPod is popping up. I guess you can't see that anyways. I'm gonna stick you into a wall a second time. Wow, both of them arguing about how King entrusted her with this battle when King literally has just been running full speed away from the battle with no concern whatsoever about what's going on behind him. Alright. That's crazy. All I can do is reflect its trajectory. I'm using my ultimate weapon that can pulverize even a giant meteorite in a single blow. Interesting. So I wonder if that was actually based on Saitama's punch that blew up the giant meteorite. Like, I wonder if Dr. Kusno and Genos had like studied the known size and stuff of the asteroid or the meteorite or whatever, and then like worked out how powerful Saitama's punch must have been to do that. And they were like, okay, if we can get a weapon up until that tier, like that's going to be a huge achievement for us. So maybe it's like that kind of thing. That would be cool. That would, not that I'm expecting this to be explained in lore, but just the fact that it kind of like hints at that possible lore, I think is very cool. You can only go full power for 10 seconds. Will I make it? Okay. So many beings with such immense power. Just what the hell is happening out there? Yeah, I think Fubuki is right to be freaked out about this. Whoa, look at this face within body. It's getting so freaky. Another amazing shot. I don't even know what genre of novel this would be on the cover of. It's beyond. It looks like Shintaro Kago, if anything. Unreal. Such dynamicism in just how Psychos is visualized, you know? As I was saying, this feeling of evolution, and yet going in such radically different directions too. And the comedic hard cut, the Saitama, who didn't even get bubbled. Lightspeed Flash didn't get bubbled either. Don't get how you monsters think at all. Isn't this the thing they say in like Trolls 2? There's this like famously bad movie called Trolls 2 or something. I think it's called Trolls 2. Anyways, there's a scene where he goes like, I'm gonna tighten up my belt so I don't feel the hunger pains or something. And it's like a very quoted, memeable scene. Anyway, that's what they're doing. They're doing the Trolls 2 thing. Just a little comedy sketch in the middle of this insane fight. three of us are the type that needs somebody else. You're the one that needs someone else the most. Your face is stuck in the wall. No one will ever see me in this pitiful state. Oh God, what's about to happen? You don't say things like that. You know how flagged that's gonna get. Who is gonna show up and see him in this state? I love too that Saitama and the monster are just chatting about food, having this nice domestic scene of what do you feel like cooking and stuff. Not that they live together, but you can share your lives even without living together. All right, I finished. I didn't intend to upload after the other group since the translation isn't too different. Okay. All right. Good chapter. Lots of fun. Crazy battles. Yeah, I think you should expect me to do all of the One Punch Man chapters because they come out pretty infrequently and they're pretty fun. I don't know, and they're quite popular. Seems like a lot of people want to see them, so I like doing them. I don't know. There's a lot of reasons for me to do it. I haven't decided what other series I'm going to start making videos of again, and I'm not going to bother making videos getting caught up on anything. It'll just be new chapters coming out from this point on. So yeah, I don't know. No promises. It just kind of comes down to if I feel like doing it, I'll do it. And so you'll get what you get. I know that's not much to bank on, but that's what this channel is. Not a whole lot to bank on. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please look forward to more One Punch Man and probably some other series too. Bye-bye.